This evening, our coverage of the NFL playoffs begins with the wild card games. From RFK Stadium in Washington, it's the Los Angeles Rams at the Washington Redskins. And from the Meadowlands in New Jersey, the Kansas City Chiefs at the New York Jets. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, and Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Our playoffs have begun here in the United States in the NFL, and we are going to bring you the best moments of the two games that were played, the two wild card games that were played last Sunday. The Los Angeles Rams were at the Washington Redskins in Washington, D.C., representing the NFC. Meanwhile, in the AFC, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. They met the New York Jets at the Meadowlands in nearby New Jersey.
Meanwhile, I'll be talking to the head coach, whose team is favored at this point to win Super Bowl 21, Bill Parcells of the New York Giants. Bill Parcells didn't come to work on Christmas Day, and that was his first day off in 161 days. He's a man totally dedicated to his team and his job, and he'll be talking about himself, the Giants, and the playoffs later on in the program.
Also tonight, we're going to show you the video to end all videos. It's by the AFC Central Division champion Cleveland Browns, and believe me, you've seen nothing like this. But first, it's back to more serious matters. Before we begin our coverage of the wild card games, let's go back and take a look at the basics of the game of American football. For some of you who maybe aren't too sure of this game, well, let's go back to the ABCs of the game. And I think you'll find that it isn't really as complicated as we Americans like to think it is. The football field is 100 yards long with the yardage lines clearly marked, so you always know where the ball is. The team in possession has 4 attempts, or downs, to move the ball at least 10 yards and then retain possession. As we join this New York Giants drive against Dallas, they have a first down and 10 at Dallas's 44-yard line. Phil Simms is the Giants quarterback. Now he can pass the ball, hand it off to a running back, or run with it himself. This time he passes. And his receiver reaches the 27-yard line. Now that's a gain of 17 yards, more than 10 yards that's required, so it's first down and 10 for the Giants once more. Now this time, Simms will hand off to a running back. The running back is stopped at Dallas's 24-yard line. That's a gain of 3 yards, so it's now second down and 7. As the clock counts down for the end of the quarter, Simms's pass is again worth more than the Giants need for a first down, more than 10 yards. It's first and 10 at Dallas's 14-yard line now. This time, Simms's running back will be Joe Morris, and Joe is stopped at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't gain any yardage, so now it will be second down, and of course 10 more yards to go for another first down. Now, this time, Simms will try a pass, but it's incomplete. So it's third down and 10, still on the Dallas 14-yard line. Finally, Simms will hit one of his receivers. And the receiver wriggles in for a touchdown. That gives the Giants 6 points. Then they get one more for the point after. We call it the conversion that follows the touchdown. Had Simms not fired that touchdown pass on third and 10, the Giants would probably have used their fourth down to kick a field goal, and that would have been worth 3 points. Had the Giants been out of field goal range after 3 downs, they would most likely have punted the ball as far into their opponent's territory as possible. So again, the basics. 4 downs to make 10 yards or more to get another first down. 6 points for a touchdown. 1 for the point after. 3 points for a field goal. Now for the first of tonight's games. And remember, the wild card teams are the 2 teams within each conference that have the best record other than the divisional champions. Our first game that we are going to bring you will be the Kansas City Chiefs. They play at the New York Jets. And we have never shown you the Kansas City Chiefs here on our Game of the Week. So we are going to go back and tell you a little bit about their past and also bring you up to date on their present. The franchise owned by oil millionaire Lamar Hunt was originally the Dallas Texans and was one of the founding members of the American Football League back in 1960. In 1963, Hunt turned the Dallas Texans into the Kansas City Chiefs. And under quarterback Lenny Dawson, the Chiefs won 3 AFL titles in 8 years. They lost the first Super Bowl to the Green Bay Packers back in 1966. Then, after the season of 1969, the Chiefs, Dawson, and Coach Hank Stram were back for Super Bowl IV.
Come on, Lenny. Pump it in there, baby. Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys. Yeah, man. That's it, boys.
Since then, the Chiefs have reached the playoffs just once, in 1971. And this year, they rarely looked like contenders until the very end of the season. They came through thanks to their tough defense and their brilliant special teams, who scored 3 touchdowns in the Chiefs' clincher at Pittsburgh last week. Their offense, however, is purely and simply the worst in the NFL. Starting quarterback Bill Kenney has been injured. His backup, Todd Blackledge, is struggling to make the grade. And their leading rusher this year has just 448 yards. So, what are the Jets? They, too, were winners of one of the early Super Bowls, Super Bowl III. And for a while this season, quarterback Ken O'Brien was reminding everyone of the great Joe Namath. The Jets got off to a 10-1 start. And in those first 11 games, O'Brien threw 23 touchdown passes and was intercepted only 8 times. In the next 5 games, he threw for just 2 touchdowns. He had 12 interceptions, and the Jets lost all 5. For the wild card game, Coach Joe Walton has put O'Brien out of his misery. He is replacing him with backup Pat Ryan. So now, let's head for Giant Stadium for the Kansas City Chiefs against the New York Jets. The Chiefs stopped the Jets on their first drive, then gradually worked the ball into New York territory. As we join it, the Chiefs have a first down and 10 at the Jets' 19-yard line. Our commentators are Bob Greasy, a former great quarterback with the Miami Dolphins, and Marv Albert.
And again to the ground. Larry Moriarty. Stopped by Johnny Lynn. Check that. Jeff Smith, the ball carrier.
Take a look at the point of attack. 85 is Hayes, doubles down. Gilboa, 94. It's handled pretty well by Moriarty. Nice enough to get the back inside of him. And Gilboa has been out with an injury problem most of the year. Came back, was out and missed last week's game, and is back in there this week, trying to get some things done on the defense's right side.
2nd and 4 down at the 13. That is Page, 83, in motion. And here's Moriarty. And a fumble. The Chiefs recover. The tight end, Walt Arnold.
Stephon Page came up with a recovery. I don't know if they're going to say it was a fumble or not.
May have been blown dead. Let's see.
Baldwin, 95, tries to get in there. A little misdirection. And it looked as though he was down before the ball was out.
So it's spotted at the 12, and it will be a 3rd down and 3. And this, the 9th play of the drive. Redmond throwing end zone. And a flag down. Jerry Holmes covering Henry Marshall. And it is against Holmes.
Number 47 on the defense. The ball's on the 1-yard line. First down.
You get a jam within 5 yards. Holmes is out there by himself because a blitz was coming on. The key there is Holmes does not see the ball, and Marshall, although it was a little bit underthrown into the inside, saw it and made an attempt to come back and catch it.
So the ball is placed on the 1. First and goal from the 1 for Kansas City. A quickie series for the Jets in which Pat Ryan had 2 of his passes deflected. And Kansas City controlling the football. 8 minutes to go in this first quarter. Jeff Smith giving the Chiefs a 6-0 lead. Jeff Smith, an all-purpose back in his second season out of Nebraska.
Makovic goes with his elephant offensive line on short yardage. He substitutes 2 offensive tackles and a guard at tight end in the flanker position as Smith goes over the top. Something that the offense of the Chiefs didn't do all of last week. Score a touchdown. They've done it on their first drive here today.
And here is Nick Lowry, who is 43 for 43 on the season. His last miss of an extra point was back in '83. And that, just as the words come out of my mouth, stops the streak of 123 consecutive extra points off the bad snap.
Ball, the rookie center, has a little high snap.
The Jets are well into their next drive. 3rd down and 6 at Kansas City's 33-yard line.
Page and McNeil, the running backs. And almost picked off by Burris, who has 5 interceptions for the season. The pass intended for McNeil.
Good pressure up front, Marv, by the Chiefs defensive line. 63 is Moss working on Alexander, just pushes him back and gets into his face. Ryan having to throw off balance and around Moss, who leaped into the air. Moss going to the Pro Bowl for the first time also.
It is a 4th and 6, and the Jets going for it rather than for the long field goal attempt.
It'd be 51 yards, and I think it's a good cause. It's a 4-down area, and if you don't kick the field goal, go for it.
Off the fake, Ryan on a bootleg. Pat Ryan refusing to go down.
Richie Kotite, the offensive coordinator, said the tackles for the Chiefs play wide on nickel situations. We're going to fake the pitch, come back with Ryan up the middle. Also, you may see some quarterback draws because of that defensive philosophy by the Chiefs.
24-yard run by Ryan, who is asking for quiet for the 1st and goal from the 9. Here's McNeil inside the 5. Page and McNeil split. Walker in motion. McNeil. Touchdown. And again, it's to the left. The Jets and Kansas City tied at 6.
Well, we said McNeil would be the key to this game, but the big play on the drive was by Ryan, who gives Joe Walton a little bit more of a foot speed. He moves around a little bit more elusiveness. He'll scramble. Nice play by Ryan to make the 4th and 7, 4th down play.
And now Ryan will hold for Pat Leahy, who has given the Jets a 1-point lead. 13 plays, 75 yards. So with 46 seconds left in this first quarter, Freeman McNeil able to hammer it home.
Hackett gets pushed back into the end zone, and a nice job by the Jet offensive line.
So head coach Joe Walton and his Jets over Kansas City by 1.
In the last minute of the first quarter, Chiefs running back Larry Moriarty was upended by the Jets safety man Harry Hamilton, and the Jets recovered the fumble. And now, the Jets begin the second quarter with a 1st and 10 at Kansas City's 37-yard line.
Off the slant, picking his way, Freeman McNeil inside the 30. Kevin Ross tripped him up.
Dan Alexander, number 60, will come around in front of McNeil, and he runs right up his back. That's fine as long as you don't see a red shirt. You see him grabbing a hold of Alexander and says, I'm going where you're going. You're a lot bigger than I am.
And he picked up 9. It is a 2nd and 1 at the 28, and Freeman McNeil is off to a fast start. And Page with the first down. Whitney Paul on the cover-up. There's Whitney Paul, backup linebacker who began his career with Kansas City, then was traded to New Orleans, and he's back here with the Chiefs. So a first down for the Jets at the Kansas City 26.
Barb, the strength of this Chief defense is their secondary. Every one of them is a fine athlete. They're hard hitters, and they all have at least 4 interceptions. In fact, they are 3rd in the National Football League in the number of interceptions this year. So the only trail, I think it's the Rams and the 49ers, but very aggressive, big hitters. I don't think you're going to see Ryan going deep too often.
Led by Duron Cherry, who has 9 intercepts, the most in the AFC. McNeil stopped by Cofield. 2.5 gone by in this second quarter. The Jets with a 7-6 lead over Kansas City. Last week, the Jets got off to the good start of the first half. They led Cincinnati 21-17 at the half, but then sparked by Boomer Esiason, Cincinnati with 35 unanswered points in a shellacking 52-21.
Joe Walton not too pleased with that last play. But the Jets early on were getting ahead early in the games. The last 5 they've been behind.
McNeil. Good second effort by McNeil. And similar to last week, the game plan has been Freeman McNeil left and Freeman McNeil right.
Mostly left, and they like to run him over there behind Sweeney and Bingham with Alexander, the right guard, pulling left, and again running at Koch and Cofield. But I think you're going to see the Jets not throwing the ball downfield too much, Marv, because this is a big play defensive team for the Chiefs. As we said, they lead the National Football League in takeaways with 31.
3rd down and 1 at the Kansas City 17. McNeil to the left for the first down. Mark Gastineau sitting with all his friends.
And staying warm at the same time.
The Jets first down at the 13. McNeil, 12 carries, 55 yards. McNeil inside the 10. Kevin Ross, a cornerback on the right. Inside linebacker Gary Spady combining to make the stop.
Let's take a look at this, Marv. Both right linemen, King and Alexander, are going to pull to the left side, running to the left with Alexander. They're probably their best offensive lineman. Bingham gets the seal block. Alexander with a good block and a good runner, and McNeil just bounces around, taking it where the hole is.
2nd down and 6 at the 9. McNeil has carried the ball the last 4 plays for the Jets. Now play action. And Ryan incomplete. Intended for McNeil.
I think Pat Ryan was bounced around a little bit. We just caught the end of it. Let's take a look at the protection. Play action fake. After you run to him, fake to him, maybe you'll hold the linebackers. Cooper 55, and it didn't even see Koch coming. Ryan threw the ball, was looking downfield. Seemed to have thrown the ball behind as Koch got there at the last minute.
And it's a 3rd and 6 at the 9. Pat Ryan has done a good job filling in for Ken O'Brien. 2 years ago, started the first 11 games, played well, got off to a 6-up, 2-down start, suffered a couple of concussions that took him out of it. Here's the swing for McNeil. And McNeil picked up the first down. Kevin Ross with the tackle preventing the touchdown.
Marvy picked up the first down, but there was a defensive man that got picked as Toon comes in here and will set a pick as McNeil goes out into the flat. Now watch the motion man. Al Toon, he bumps a man there. Now he comes in and bumps another man. Burris right there. Nobody out in the flat with a guard in front.
And when you talk about a pick, you could take a jumper behind the pick of Al Toon, who goes 6'4", 205 pounds. The ball at the 1, first and goal. The looping pass for McNeil. The Jet offense looking very sharp.
Pat Ryan looking awfully sharp. McNeil doing it on the ground. Ryan doing just enough to mix the run and pass. Fakes the run, a little flip. You can tell he's under no pressure, because if you were under pressure, you might try and line that ball or throw it a little bit too hard, but Ryan doing a nice job moving the offense.
And here is Pat Leahy. Ryan puts it down, and the Jets with a 14-6 lead on the Kansas City Chiefs.
2 minutes to play in the second quarter. The Jets have a second down and 15 at their own 33-yard line.
Now 2 has the first down. And some more. Hackett pushed him out. And this is a chant that the Jets have not heard in some time. The reaction to Toon, who just went 30 yards on the pass play.
The motion here causes Burris, and now look, they get a man-to-man over here on half the field on Toon. Single coverage, and he is the greatest in the National Football League. Breaking tackles, breaks one from Ross, breaks one from Burris, gets some extra yardage.
The end result, Jets first down at the Kansas City 37. Play action, and Ryan steps up and is able to complete at the 30 to the tight end Mickey Schuler. Tim Cofield covered him up. It'll be a 2nd and 3. The Jets in their hurry up with 1:40 remaining. First half. Now McNeil found the hole, has the first down. Hackett on the tackle. 1:34 to go. First half. The Jets 14, Kansas City 6. The Jets first down at the Chiefs 23. And Ryan has Schuler over the middle for another Jet first down. Deron Cherry had some difficulty bringing Schuler down. Back to the hurry up.
Short passes, Marv. Short passes.
It is a first down at the 11. And it's broken up. Intended for Schuler. Lloyd Burris, the strong safety, got a piece of it.
Ball was right there, and an excellent play by Burris.
The Jets, sparked by Ryan, who took over for Ken O'Brien, has come to life here in this first half.
They're doing it with the running of McNeil and the short passing of Pat Ryan.
Raymond McNeil, 70 yards on 17 carries.
You know, Marv, the other thing that the change in quarterbacks has done is allow Joe Walton to call plays for a different style of quarterback.
And here is Ryan, who was 11 for 16, throwing it high and far. He saw Wesley Walker was covered, so he threw it away.
Let's line up and call another play. I didn't like that play. Throw it out of bounds. I'm not going to throw it in there and make an interception. He wants to come out at least with 3. One more chance for a touchdown.
Pat Ryan, out of Tennessee in his 9th season in the NFL, had an injury-hit collegiate career, was used in passing situations in Tennessee's run-oriented offense. He is more mobile than O'Brien. Consider him a solid short to medium range passer. Doesn't have the long arm that O'Brien possesses. 8th play of the drive. 3rd down, 10. Ryan with a bump. Touchdown. Al Toon on an 11-yard pass play, and the Jets lead Kansas City 20-6.
Toon was lined up at tight end, Marv. The motion helped disguise where he was lined up, and Toon, who is a good possession receiver, just slips down to the middle of the end zone and takes the reception.
Al Toon caught 8 touchdown passes during the regular season. 8 plays, 62 yards, and Pat Leahy adds to the lead. 59 seconds left first half, and the Jets now lead Kansas City 21-6.
The 3rd quarter. The Jets kick it off.
And it's carried by Smith. So they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Now look at the complete first half statistical picture.
First downs 14-5, and total yardage 191-58. The Kansas City Chiefs not doing anything offensively. We mentioned they're last in the league offense, and they're second last in possession time. So the time of possession is really nothing there either. The surprising thing, or the thing that they're looking for and not getting, no turnovers by their defense and no big plays on special teams.
So Todd Blackledge 7 for 10, only 48 yards starting out this 3rd quarter, and looking for the pass, and it's intercepted. Kevin McArthur on a 21-yard touchdown interception return.
Todd Blackledge, the tight end in the flat. Linebacker had him well covered.
The pass intended for tight end Jonathan Hayes. Kevin McArthur, a first-year player out of Lamar, scoring his first ever NFL touchdown. He was signed as a free agent when Lance Bell was injured. He was in the Jet training camp this summer for a 3rd straight tryout. He had spent some time with the Raiders 2 years ago. A big moment in the career of Kevin McArthur as Leahy puts it through. Ryan put down a high snap, and the Jets scoring quickly, lead it 28-6.
The Chiefs try again. They're on a drive that has taken them to midfield. It's 3rd down and 8.
Down catch by Carlos Carson. Johnny Lynn on the stop, a 16-yard pass play. Just a moment ago, Marty Lyons looking very shaky as he headed to the sideline.
Even his left hand there, his left forearm. Let's go back and take a look at Carson coming off the line of scrimmage. Carter forces him inside to Lynn, 29. Carson makes a nice break to the outside. Lynn comes up to make the tackle.
Carson's first catch of the day. 85, the tight end, Jonathan Hayes now lining up on the right side. Carson in motion. And here's Green on a sweep. And hit down across the 30 by Kyle Clifton. Boyce Green, who last week returned a kickoff for 97 yards and a touchdown, has averaged about 3.5 yards per carry. The Kansas City running game has not done it all season. Mike Pruitt led the team in rushing with only 448 yards on the ground, and he is out because of a sprained knee. He's on injured reserve.
The rushing game is 27th in the National Football League, so they're not surprising anybody by not being able to run here today.
Marty Lyons is back. 2nd down and 3. Play action. Blackledge eluding Baldwin. Running for the first down and has it. So Todd Blackledge doing it on the ground.
And you have to be able to scramble, Mar, because there are going to be times when the coverage is downfield. One of the interesting differences today from the Jet defense last week, as we take a look at the coverage being there, is that Bud Carson is not blitzing his linebackers and not committing his defense secondary to one-on-one coverage. You're playing a lot of zone. There's a lot of coverage downfield, and I think he feels as though just contain them and we can beat them.
Kansas City first down at the Jet 24. Kansas City Chiefs did not pick up a first down in the second quarter. They're trailing 28-6. 8.5 remaining, third quarter. Green and Moriarty are the runners. Blackledge for the end zone and broken up. Jerry Holmes got a piece of it. It was intended for Henry Marshall.
Every time he looks downfield, there's coverage there by the Jets. He's getting Foster, getting pressure up front from Foster, and downfield he's getting coverage. Just take a look. 98 is Foster in the inside there, as you saw a little loop, a little game. Addix 51. It's Donnelly 51 and Addix 61, both trying to do some protecting up front. Jets getting a good pass rush off of their front four.
Rome Foster, recent addition to the squad. One-time Miami Dolphin. 13th play of the drive, 2nd and 10. And here's Moriarty. Harry Hamilton, the free safety, stopping Larry Moriarty, who spent part of the season with Houston. Acquired in a trade back in October. He was a starter for the Oilers. In fact, back in '84 in Houston, he had a career-high 138-yard game against the Jets. He just picked up 6, setting up a 3rd down and 4 at the 18.
The Chiefs have not got that speed back in their backfield. They're all fullback types. You got Moriarty and Green, Smith and Hurd. Ever since the loss of Joe Delaney, they have not had a speed back in the backfield. Most every team in the league has a good halfback.
3rd down and 4. And Blackledge completes over the middle. Paul Kaufman, the veteran tight end, appears to be short of the first down. Kaufman, the one-time Green Bay Packer and a 3-time Pro Bowl man, is short of that first down. 4th and about 1.
Saw the signal there. The two fists together means double tight end. They're going with their big offensive linemen, both Alt, number 76, and Addix, 61, will go to the tight end positions. And number 73, Josviak, their number 1 draft choice, will go to the moving back. Big offensive line.
Crowd urging the defense on. Boyce Green following Moriarty and stopped. Derlin Moore, the first to get to Boyce Green.
It's been the Achilles heel for the Chiefs all year long. They have not been very good in short yardage situations. And a lot of times, Marv, when you go to those big offensive linemen, the defense knows you can't throw. So they really, as we look at it from a reverse angle, they slant toward the blocking back. Derlin Moore, 74, gets in there and runs up the pursuit lane. The Jets, with a good defense, turn it over.
It got worse for the Chiefs on their next drive when Todd Blackledge was intercepted by Jets cornerback Russell Carter. But now, early in the 4th quarter, the Jets are having to punt.
4th down, and Dave Jennings will punt from his 29-yard line. His 4th punt of the day. Jeff Smith is and it is blocked. So the Chiefs get one.
Alvin Lewis.
And it's a touchdown. Albert Lewis, who explodes blocking the Jennings punt, which is a rarity. Albert Lewis, who blocked a punt against Pittsburgh last week that was recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. This is his 4th block punt of the season.
4 block punts and 1 tackled punter, which is in effect 5 times he's got there before the punter kicked the football. The special teams again bringing the Chiefs back, giving them some life, putting them back in this ball game, Marv.
And that was a solid block by Albert Lewis. Nick Lowry, who missed his earlier extra point attempt, putting it through. And the Chiefs now trail by the score, 28-13. Kansas City Chiefs with their first point scored since the opening drive of the game. So special teams coach Crash Gans strikes in the person of Albert Lewis, popular guy. Crash Gans, who was special teams coach here and then went on to Philadelphia, and then here he is back with the Chiefs.
They love him. When the special teams meet, a lot of the players that aren't normally on special teams will go in anyway. Yeah. They say, hey, Gans is on. Let's go ahead and hear him. He's a great motivational speaker and does a great job motivating his players.
And here's Lowry with a little pop taken by Page. Tony Page, one of the up men, gets out to the 39-yard line. Again, the Chiefs look to keep it away from Townsell and Humphrey. Humphrey returned one last week for 96 yards.
Let's go back and take a look at Albert Lewis's block of the punt. 29 is Albert Lewis. Now he gets inside of 31 Barber right there, and he gets back and knows how to block a punt. This is one thing that Gans says. A lot of guys don't know how to block punts when they get there. We show them how to block punts. Certainly Lewis knows how to do it.
On the kickoff, offside called on Kansas City. It's declined. Jets take over at the 39. First punt that Dave Jennings has had blocked as a member of the Jets back in '84 with the Giants. A year that he'd like to forget about. He had 3 blocked punts. First down from the 39. And again, McNeil. We're just underway in this 4th quarter. Six-yard pickup. That'll be a 2nd down and 4. McNeil, the lone deep back. Schuler in motion. McNeil. Short pickup. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs opened the season against the Cincinnati Bengals. And perhaps this preview for the future as the Chiefs' first touchdown of the season, only 1:42 into the game, came on that block punt of Mark Robinson. Deron Cherry able to recover it in the end zone for the score, and the Chiefs went on to win it 24-14. The special teams has had a magnificent season. 6 block punts coming into today, 3 blocked field goals, a blocked conversion, and 5 touchdowns in all. 3rd down and 2. And Ryan puts it up. Altoon with the first ball and a fumble. McNeil recovered.
You can see as the Chiefs are trying to tackle the Jet players, they're going for the ball. The first man there didn't get it, but the second man knocked it free. Let's take a look at it from the opposite side of the field. Burris is there and knocks it free right there. Number 34, Lloyd Burris. But McNeil for the Jets is there to recover it. The thing that special teams touchdown has done for the Chiefs, Marv, is given some life back to this football team. They're back in this game, and that missed extra point looms larger right now.
McNeil off the left side. And a very short pickup. Art Still on the stop. Art Still 4 times to the Pro Bowl and was a second alternate this season. Led the Chiefs with 10.5 sacks. 2nd down and 9. at the Kansas City 48. 12:45 to go. Fourth quarter. The Jets 28 and the Chiefs 13. McNeil has run for 101 yards on 26 carries. And Ryan for Walker. He underthrew, but Walker came up with it. What a play by Wesley Walker. He had a cut back in front of Lloyd Burris. A 38-yard pass play.
Give credit, Marv, to Walton for calling the play, because the Chiefs are in a similar type of defense to what the Bears would play last year. It's called a Bear defense. They're stacked against the run. They're not playing the pass. The ball was underthrown, and Walker comes back and makes a big play for the Jets. But they were stacked against the run to stop the Jet running game.
Ron Cherry thought he was about to intercept, but instead Walker came back for a second catch of the day.
Well, Cherry didn't go up and catch the ball at its highest point. One of the things that a defensive back is taught very early.
First and goal for McNeil. McNeil running hard to the 7. Cofield, the outside linebacker, and Paul make the stop.
There's that last reception right there. Cherry jumps and waits for the ball around his waist, and Walker gets up a little bit higher and makes the reception.
Wesley Walker, who has been very quiet the past few weeks, getting back into the offense here today. Ball placed at the 6, second and goal from the 6. 81 is Griggs in motion. Ryan for Griggs in a surprise touchdown. Billy Griggs, who did not catch a pass during the regular season. A second-year player from Virginia was wide open, and Ryan found him.
Joe Walton pulling out all the plays in his bag of tricks. Very similar to early in the season when everything he called went the right way.
And here's Pat Leahy. So Billy Griggs with his first National Football League touchdown.
Griggs was in motion, started going back across the formation from where he came. That makes the defensive man think he's going back, and he wasn't. Big play for the Jets to answer that special teams touchdown by Kansas City.
With 3 minutes left, Jets punter Dave Jennings ran the ball out of his own end zone rather than risk a second block punt. That presented the Chiefs with a 2 points, but it meant little. The Jets won for the first time since November the 16th, 35-15. So the Jets now will move into the divisional playoffs. They will play at Cleveland on Saturday. New England will play at Denver in the other AFC divisional playoff game. For the Jets, it's been an interesting turnaround. They lost their entire defensive line about midway through the season. They also lost one of the best linebackers in football, Lance Mel. They lost their last 5 football games, but they now look like they've turned it around. It's going to be tough, however, in Cleveland. Right now, we'd like to have you meet a very interesting man. The head coach of the New York Giants, his name is Bill Parcells, and many of us have picked the Giants to go all the way. They certainly have been a great team thus far. They are 14-2. That's far and away the best record the Giants have ever had. Let's meet Bill Parcells right now, as introduced by John Smith.
1986 turned into a giant-sized celebration for Bill Parcells. Born in New Jersey in 1941, he's been a New York Giant fan all his life. He never played the game professionally, opting for an early start in the coaching field. He was defensive coordinator at various colleges before becoming head coach of the Air Force Academy in 1978. I first met him when he coached New England's linebackers in the 1980 season. He then joined the Giants as defensive coordinator in 1981 and became only the 12th head coach in the team's long history on December 15, 1982. Bill, having been a Giants fan all your life, it must have been a dream come true to become head coach of the New York Giants.
Well, it was, John. You know, I'm from this area very close to where the stadium is located. I grew up maybe only 2-3 miles from here. And very few people, I think, get to do, you know, exactly what they'd like to do in life. And I've just been one of those lucky guys. I've had the opportunity, and it's certainly nice for as long as it lasts.
Don't worry about doing everything perfect now. Just get out there and run like hell and catch it, all right? All right. You know what I mean? Like a street game. Remember them? All right. That's what this is.
Bill, how demanding is this game for you personally?
Well, it's demanding, but I think the effort that you put in and the pressure that you put on yourself is what wears on you. But I like my job, and as I said, I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I enjoy doing. I'm not one of those guys that gets up in the morning and dreads going to work. I enjoy going to work and doing these things, so it's a demanding job, but it really doesn't seem like a job.
I like that old time rock and roll. I like that old time rock and roll. The music that'll thrill your soul.
I'm at work normally by 6 a.m. or 6:15, and I don't work late into the night, but most of the time I'm home around 9 o'clock, so it's basically about 15 hours a day.
So what does your family think to that sort of schedule?
Well, my wife has a sign in the kitchen that says, "We interrupt this marriage to present the football season." So I don't see much of her.
Let's go, killer. This ain't gonna be no place for women and children now, I tell you.
Bill, you're the only coach who takes a shower at the end of a game in front of millions of people. How did that get started?
I don't really recall. I think it was in '84, and I think it was during the Redskin game in '84, which the Redskins were on top of the division at that time, and we beat them at home, and our sideline was quite festive, and the players were very rambunctious, and we won by a very large score. I think it was 37-7, and in the last part of the game, there was a lot of celebration going on, and I was very happy, and I think one of the players just decided to go ahead and do it, and since that time, it's kind of been something that's kind of caught on, and I really don't have any objection to it. It's a way that the players have of celebrating, and I don't mind that. I think it should be fun.
Well, it shows what your relationship is with the players for you to be able to tolerate it, because a lot of coaches in the NFL put themselves on a pedestal and wouldn't tolerate that type of thing with the players.
Well, I try to I really don't think I'm above or beyond any of our players or any of the employees in the organization. I'm just a regular guy that goes to work. I happen to be the head coach now, but I really have tried very hard not to change my personality, and I think it would be very difficult for me to do that anyway. I just am the way I am, and I enjoy having a little bit of fun too once in a while.
And Bill Parcells will be back a little later in the program to give us his thoughts on the playoff picture. A measure of the Giants' success this season is that 8 of their players have been chosen to represent the NFC in next month's Pro Bowl. There are 7 players from the Rams and Chicago, 6 from Washington, but for the first time ever, none from Dallas. The AFC team is led by 5 players from Denver, Miami, New England, and Seattle. The game will take place in Hawaii on February the 1st. One more piece of news away from the playoffs this week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fired head coach Lehman Bennett. In his 2 years with the Buccaneers, Bennett's record had been 4-28. Time now for our second wild card game. That would match the Los Angeles Rams, led by Eric Dickerson, against the Washington Redskins, and they are playing in Washington, D.C. Our commentators, John Madden, but to set it all up, here first is Pat Summerall.
The winning edge for John Robinson's Rams is bolstered by the regal efforts of Eric Dickerson, the NFL's leading rusher. But the Rams are essentially a blue-collar group, relying on a stingy defense and special teams. The addition of Jim Everett was to be the icing on the cake, as the Rams seemed destined for a division title. But consecutive losses landed them in today's wild card game, where John Robinson knows the winning edge must resurface. The Washington Redskins appeared to be the class of the NFC for most of this season. The explosive offense was complemented by a begrudging defense as the Skins performed with an air of invincibility. But recently the brashness has faded. Defeat brought them down to earth as the division title slipped away. With spirits down, the normally sedate Joe Gibbs sounded the alarm last week, and his message was well taken as the Skins rallied and entered today's game with renewed confidence. Today, two young quarterbacks get their first taste of playoff pressure as the Rams face the unenviable task of confronting football frenzy in Washington.
The Rams have the ball first. First down and 10 at the Redskins' 40-yard line.
Dickerson. Fumble. The Redskins come out of the pack with it. That's Alvin Walton. Still with it. And quickly back into Ram territory. Newberry tripped him up. But the Redskins get that first turnover.
They were knocking the ball around there. They were going pretty good blocking here. Dickerson has the cutback, but he hit his own guy. He hit his left guard. It was Tom Newberry. It looked like his left arm hit Newberry, and the ball just hopped out of there. It wasn't a Redskin defender.
Gary Clark split wide to the left, and Art Monk out to the right. We'll send the rest of the Redskin offense in just a second. Schrader is the quarterback. Rodgers gets the carry, and Rodgers hammers. Rodgers going. And he gets down inside the 30. Leroy Irvin finally tripped him up after a gain of 15.
I'll tell you, he's going to get a great block here from Donnie Warren. Watch 85 coming across in motion. Watch that trap right there. He knocked it down. He gave the big hole in there. The guy he blocked was a nose tackle, Sean Miller. But that was a block. I mean, Donnie Warren came across there and delivered a load on Miller.
And Sean Miller never saw him coming. You're right, John. What a tremendous block. Here comes Donnie Warren in motion. Fumble. Schrader on the exchange from his offensive center, Bostic. And they have to down it right there. Boy, things happening in a hurry.
See what happens here. It's just as he was pulling it out, it looked like he just pulled it out and just brought it right back beyond him. I'll tell you, they always talk about intensity in playoffs, and whatever that word is, the level's up about 3 notches.
We've got it here. 2nd and 12. Didier is the man on the move. Schrader took his time and gets it to Didier. A gain of about 5. It'll still leave 3rd and long as Mel Owens was there. That's one of the things that John Robinson was saying to us yesterday. Give him those short passes, but don't let him get turned upfield with it.
Well, he doesn't think that Jay Schrader can sit back there all day and look at those deep zones that they're going to play and keep his patience and throughout the whole game continue to hit the short guy.
It'll be 3rd and 8. Sanders wide left. Kelvin Bryant in the game in place of Rodgers. That's Monk moving. Schrader across the middle of Monk. Monk will get a Redskin first down out of bounds at about the 15. Leroy Irvin finally got him out of bounds.
Well, we ought to have the telephone to John Robinson on that one. He said yesterday, he said, if you have a phone to me, I can tell you if we're doing well. He said, when we play our zones, he said, if they catch the ball at 5 yards and we tackle them at 5, then we're playing well. He said, if they catch it at 5 and run another 5 for first downs, as we're seeing Art Monk do, we're not playing well.
And he said we're in trouble if that happens. And right now, it would appear they are in trouble. Redskin first down. They're at the Rams 16. No score yet. Schrader. A lot of time. It's going to be out of the end zone and no one there except our sign.
And Jerry Gray chasing it, the Rams cornerback. Hey, you talked about the players that the Rams have in the Pro Bowl on offense, but they also have their 2 corners. This guy, Jerry Gray here, and the other corner, Leroy Irvin. And I'll tell you, that's a different thing. When you get 2 cornerbacks that play all zone defense, that's an amazing thing. There's all the Rams that are in the Pro Bowl, but usually the cornerbacks that make the Pro Bowl are usually man-to-man cover guys.
In this case, they're zone covers, but an aggressive zone bunch. Schrader back at his own 25, down the middle of the month. Ball is loose. They're going to say it was down. I'm sure Jerry Gray in the middle of that pack. Donnie Warren came up with it. Gain of 7. It's 3rd and 3, and Rodgers back, and they give to Rodgers, and he is hit, and that'll be short of the first down by a couple of yards. Nolan Cromwell came up to make the stop after a gain of 1 with the help from Mel Owens, and Jess Atkinson comes on. Kicked 3 extra points last week against the Eagles, but he hasn't kicked a field goal in a long time. How about a year and a half almost?
Against these Redskins.
Right.
He was saying last week he kicked 3 extra points. The guys were patting him on the back and stuff. He said, don't pat me for those. Wait until I get a field goal. Well,
This
here it is.
from 25 with Schrader holding. Redskins. Joe Gibbs said he felt very confident, and look at John Robinson congratulating the defensive unit. 8:59 left first quarter. Washington 3-0.
The Redskins on the move again. 3rd down and 6 at their own 44-yard line.
Kelvin Bryant has replaced Rodgers. That's Monk moving. Schrader back to throw. Has some time for Didier. The ball bounding around. Covered by Leroy Irvin. Knocked down, but a flag down.
And that flag came out there late, too, Pat. I don't know about this one. This one was after the ball went down.
Or at least after the ball is deflected.